Through my younger years, I can't say that I was either a confident or not confident type of guy. I was always someone that it depended on the scenario for that side of me to come out. I can definitely say that more times than not, I was definitely in that shy, introverted type of, feeling, that anxiety that wasn't, invited, but was inviting me to make me more comfortable in situations, quote unquote comfortable. It was a trap. It was something that I worked on and built myself out of, because I just saw that there was a lot of situations and doors that were closed because of this lack of confidence. What I mean by confidence is just not saying stuff that you necessarily want to say in a conversation, not acting in a way that you necessarily want to act in a conversation, but in a conversation, in a situation, and just not being you. When you have that confidence, you have this aura within you. You have this courage within you to fight back to this world that's always testing you day by day by day. This confidence also gives you a lot of respect. You know what I mean? When someone can tell that you have confidence, which is something that's lacking nowadays within a lot of people, people respect you because they can tell you put the work in to have that confidence, because you're being yourself, you're being your authentic self, you're not overthinking, you're not trying to think about the situation before it even happens. The anxiety doesn't consume you, you consume the anxiety. Those insecurities can really bleed into any area of your life. So it's important to keep that confidence within yourself so you're feeling good about yourself in every single situation. What's up guys, it's Menz with 900 Thoughts, and today I want to bring you a video talking about how I built my confidence up from being a very socially awkward person, someone who didn't like to engage in conversations, to being someone who approaches people now, sends a message first, or just tackles things head on without even thinking about it sometimes. Living life in a free but controlled way. So first I want to talk about insecurities. As I just mentioned, now insecurities are deadly because insecurities invade your brain and make you think of every reason as to why you shouldn't do something. One thing that I had to change first is my mental state. I had to change my mentality so it could go into my my physical realm, so I could start approaching things with a clear slate. So how I did that, one time I didn't even know I was doing these things while I was doing it. So for me saying this to you guys, you'll be able to do this consciously and it will speed up the process. But basically I started working and I didn't have much money at the time, and people in my school, my secondary school, had money. I'm talking like money. They were dripped out and I wasn't one of those people. So I took on a job at like a very young age, secondary school times, outside of the school of course, or like outside of any like baloney. I took on a job and I started making money. The money, even though it was a small amount at the time, it made me feel better about myself. It made me feel okay, like I can manage money. It made me learn, okay, how to save money first and foremost. And it also allowed me to spend money on things that I like in order for me to be able to look good. For example, clothes, because it made me, one thing about me, I've always been a stylish guy, but I just needed the money in order to, I just needed a platform in order to show that I had the style in it. When you have that, I'm not saying you need to have it, but it makes you feel more comfortable within your own skin. Because people judge that straight from the appearance. For people not to judge you, for those insecurities to go away, I say money is a very important thing because it gives you that stability. It gives you that control, and also makes you sure of yourself. Okay, you're chasing the bag, you're getting to the bag. It makes you more sure of your future too. It just makes you more of a confident individual overall. The money can then lead to you, investing in your hygiene, haircuts, making sure you smell good. So, when you approach a woman, for example, you're looking good, you're smelling good, so you feel good, and because it trickles down into a lot of different things. So that was what it was for me, tackling a lot of insecurities with my brain. Not just that, but what am I saying to myself when I approach people? What am I saying to myself when I'm in a room filled with people? Am I saying to myself, I should leave this room, what if someone's looking at me? Should I say to myself, no? I changed that completely. Those are things I used to say to myself. I used to really tell myself they're thinking this of me, they're thinking that of me. Or I used to just wake up every day not being grateful to even be alive. I say these are little things, even though they're so minuscule, they really change because your subconscious is strong. That's one thing you need to realize. So you changing these things, you really implementing these things to your life can make it so your actions will, you know, follow along with those things. So if you wake up saying, I'm grateful to be here, I'm happy, you know, I'm good, like, thank you God, you feel better about yourself. That confidence rises up because you feel good about yourself. You can't feel bad, musty, have a negative mind state and feel confident. Those things do not attract. So coming off of insecurities now, the next thing was not fearing anyone that I used to fear. And I used to fear quite a lot of people. I used to be very scared of a lot of different people just because of the neighborhood that I came from, the things that I experienced. But one thing that I had to realize is that a lot of the things that I experienced was not necessarily because of the people, but more so because of how they've grown up. Me understanding people made me understand that there isn't really nothing to fear in people, but things to understand. That doesn't mean that we run towards danger though. If you sense that someone is a dangerous person to be around, or you shouldn't be around some type of person, then remove yourself from that, because being in those dangerous situations, 9 times out of 10, something dangerous is gonna happen. Something dangerous happens, then you lose trust within yourself, that confidence diminishes. But with not fearing regular individuals, not fearing to mess up around them, not fearing to embarrass yourself around them. And how I did this is just understanding that I'm human, and everyone else is human too. Now, I mean, everyone else makes mistakes just like me. No one is perfect, and we all embarrass ourselves sometimes, and that embarrassment shows that you're human. Perfection is not human. Even though we like to call things that we do perfect, it's not. Like, we mess up all the time. It's actually funny, like, people that I actually used to look up to, I would see them mess up and embarrass themselves, and they were the popular people. Why? Because they're comfortable with doing that. They're comfortable, and it shows, it breeds a level of confidence. So something that just came up from myself, with myself, is I learned to embarrass myself. I learned to make a fool of myself sometimes, mess up sometimes in front of people. And it showed me that, you know, like, this really ain't a big deal. Like, people still gonna mess with you either way. Now, I mean, this could be in your speech, this could be like the way you move. And it's kind of ironic because confidence is kind of like, okay, you want to be this macho man, like walking around with your chest out, head up and shit. But no, that's not what confidence is about. Confidence is about trusting yourself, knowing yourself, even through those times when you embarrass yourself. Not letting those times really mess up with your head too much to the point where you question who you are, you want to change yourself. Know that you are you, whether you make mistakes or not, because you're human. No one is perfect except for the one above. Now, I mean, his opinion is the one that matters the most. So you better not be getting so messed up and bleeding over like someone else's opinion, bro. Real talk. Okay, so we don't fear anyone, and we've gotten rid of these insecurities that are irrational and delusional within ourselves. So what's the next move to make sure that this confidence exceeds our own expectations? As I said, when I was young, I started to, you know, work. I started to put myself in these situations so I could get money. But the thing is, I was working in hospitality type of, you know, environments. So I was dealing with people and having to socialize. And at first, it was a very, 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 very scary thing for me to put myself through, just because I wasn't used to, you know, I wasn't used to engaging in conversation. So when I engage with a customer, it would be very awkward, and I'd always just like mess up with orders, or I'd mess up with something else, like within the restaurant, or putting a plate down. Even you could tell, like, putting a plate down, my arm used to shake like this, like, you know what I mean? So being through that, though, it made me more confident. Going through that wasn't necessary, because I went through that, and it was like a muscle. One thing you need to realize is confidence is a muscle. So every day you need to be exercising that. The same way you can build anxiety over time, you can also build confidence over time. In the same way you can lose anxiety over time, you can lose confidence over time. So you need to be practicing it every day. So me going into work every day, practicing that, going into a situation that I'm normally scared of and seeing that it's not that bad. Now, I mean, thankfully the customers were very nice to me. Now, I mean, but even if there wasn't, knowing that I'm doing my task and doing it every day, something I used to be scared of, just makes me trust myself more. You're going to waste a lot of years not tackling these issues now and waiting until a day where you want to tackle them. Now, I mean, you tackle them now, you go kill them now. And the way you do that is going through those scenarios. Another thing, talking to women. I used to mess up with talking to women a lot during my school time. But, you know, through actually engaging with conversations outside of school, with women and messing up as well, making a fool of myself, it made me realize the last thing that I said, not to fear no man. That's why all these things, I hope you see all these things tie into each other. So with me noticing that these people didn't care whether I was messing up or not, it allowed me to build my muscle. Of course, some people will judge you and some people will make you feel shit for messing up, but you don't want these types of people in your life. These types of people are not the type of people that you want to be inviting into your energy or your aura. So you gotta be able to exercise that muscle in the right environment. And that brings me to another point, environment. Where you are determines how you come out. And I believe that through and through. And that goes into what I just said about the judging. If you're around people that are judging you while you're trying to get better with the confidence, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? The great analogy that I can give is that you can't be in the gym and there be little weights around and expect to, have some massive progress. You need to be in an environment where there's a lot of weights in order for you to put on that muscle. Same thing with the confidence. You need to be able to exercise that muscle of the confidence with different people. You can't exercise that muscle with people that are closed-minded, people that are gonna judge you, and people that are gonna, try and make you feel bad about yourself or even improving yourself. So environment's definitely a big one. So noticing these toxic energies that are trying to diminish your confidence while you're trying to bring it up, and eliminating them out of your life will be a very, very useful thing for you to do. Consider that. Another point that I want to touch on really quickly is learning new skills. For me, learning new skills throughout my adolescent years definitely improved my confidence because I was able to look at myself in the mirror and look at an arsenal of weapons. When you pick up a weapon in a video game and this weapon's gonna do damage. So you're attacking those mobs like, anything. Like you're attacking those mobs like you're invincible. Same way I did with myself. Like I really looked at myself and saw a lack of, skill sets, a lack of ability to do things. So I was like, okay, how am I even gonna approach goals and stuff if I can't do little tasks, So I really looked to myself and I said, yeah, we need to improve our ammo. So I learned new skills, learning, for example, to play the piano a little bit, learning how to make music, content creation now, in the workforce, being more interpersonal. Yeah, that's the word. Learning all these skills just makes me look at myself like, damn, like I'm a weapon, And, working on myself physically and stuff like that. And it's only gonna get better. But the most important thing that I wanna, put out there that I kind of nearly went into is humility. Now, humility, I never used to understand humility. I used to think humility was a weak thing to endure within yourself. I used to think that people that are humble need to, look in the mirror and question like what they're doing with their life and, stuff like that. But one thing that I realized is that humbleness instills more confidence within you. People that aren't humble need something to show, and it shows a lack of confidence and it shows a sense for validation. When you don't, impose that, oh, I've got this, I've got that, you're showing off, you feel more confident within yourself subconsciously. Because when you're doing it to impress people, your brain knows the difference. Your brain knows that you're just doing that so people can look and say, wow, you're really that guy, or you got this, or you're that guy, or I see you look improving. You need to just be able to instill that within yourself. I think that's something that I've been learning more recently, not seeking validation. Even if you don't think you're seeking validation, be careful, because some things can make it so you're doing it without even knowing. And that's one of the biggest killers. Be humble within yourself and be confident within yourself to the point where you don't need anyone else's validation but yourself, because you know the work that you've put in to get to the point where you are now, and you know that the work ain't done. You're still going, and you're still trying to indulge more skills. Let people see. The biggest person that is in the room is a person that doesn't speak. Why? Because he shows. You know what I mean? Let your actions do the talking. Don't let your mouth do all the talking. Let your actions do it. Let people see, let yourself see, and that confidence is gonna thrive within you. You know what I mean? Saying it, and especially if you're bullshitting, that confidence is just gonna go, wow. You know what I mean? Wow. I think the way I want to conclude this video is just saying that the person you are today does not conclude or dictate the person that you are tomorrow. If you want to change something within yourself, the best way to do it is to start now. So, all these things I said in this video, I hope you implement it. Now, if you really want to change, right now is the time to do it. There ain't no better time. But yeah, it's Mendz with 900 Thoughts. I'm out.